Selisse Berry.
Hi, darling. Thank you.
Good luck.
Well, good afternoon, Out and Equal. Isn't it fabulous that we're all here together? Oh my goddess. My staff suggested that I come out wearing galoshes and a yellow raincoat and a slicker, but I decided to come out in this pink jacket. But, I just want to say thank you for making the effort to join us here today. I know there have been many harrowing stories about people who have taken planes, trains, and automobiles to get here. Even my wife, Cynthia, arrived 2 days late after 3 of her flights were canceled. So, honey, I'm really happy that you're here. And I'm happy that we're all here together and that everyone made it safely. This summit will certainly go down in history as the summit where we survived a hurricane. But I have to share with you, I got this email last night from Michael Block, and he said, "You've done a tremendous job pulling this off under the most challenging circumstances. This event means so much to so many of us, and we look forward to it all year long. People are taking planes, trains, and cars, anything possible to get here for at least part of the summit. One person from Las Vegas made 2 flight transfers into Pittsburgh and drove through 6 hours of rain to get here. We already have 25 or so, half of our original forecasts, who've made it, and more are on their way. That shows you a lot about our Bank of America employees. Even more so, it shows what this event means to all of us." Thank you. We are a hardy bunch, aren't we? Neither rain, nor sleet, nor snow, nor Sandy will keep us from coming together and being together to advance workplace equality for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. So again, thanks for being here and weathering the storm. Thanks again to Dell and Paul Hastings for being today's plenary sponsors, and thank you to our wonderful presenting sponsors, IBM and HP. And thanks to all of the bold companies that have sponsored this incredible event. We could not do this important work without you. Thank you so much. As a community, we are celebrating so many incredible changes this year. We're celebrating for the first time in history, the President of the United States standing up for marriage equality. We're still celebrating the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And we at Out and Equal, we're still celebrating our first successful Out and Equal Global Workplace Summit that we held in London in July. And we're celebrating you with Out and Equal at Work, from closet to corner office. This is the first book ever about out and equal workplace advocates and people like all of you in this room who have helped create the change that is happening around the world. We really have achieved so much work together. And each person in this room has a story that is powerful and inspiring and needs to be heard. Achieving lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender equality has to start with our stories, like we heard such a powerful story from Beth this morning. The challenges we face when we come out to our families and friends. The experiences we have when we come out to our colleagues. These stories give us strength, they educate others, and they inspire change. There's a Native American adage that says it takes 1,000 voices to tell a single story. I think it's also true that out of 1,000 stories, one powerful shared voice can emerge. And that really is the story of the Out and Equal family. And that's why Out and Equal at Work was written, to share your experiences, your inspiration, and your hope. In the process of collecting these stories from this room and around the world, I was struck by some of the similarities in our collective stories. Growing up, so many of us experienced discrimination just because we were different. But we knew better. We learned, sometimes some of us took longer than others, but we learned eventually to love ourselves and be proud of who we are. And even though things did, in fact, get better, we never forgot what it felt like, how it felt to be an outsider, to face discrimination, to be marginalized. And now each of us works to protect future generations from that experience. Ana Duarte McCarthy is an important ally to the LGBT community. She is also Citigroup's Chief Diversity Officer. But before she conquered Wall Street, Ana grew up the Latina daughter of immigrants living in mostly white suburbs. Ana tells a powerful story when she was a little girl about eating at a restaurant with her family. She remembers that her father simply asked for another cup of coffee, and the white waitress serving her family threatened to throw eggs in his face. Ana shares, "I was always surprised that someone could have a problem with me simply because of who I am." She learned at a young age what it means to be different, and it opened her eyes to the experiences of other communities of people who are treated differently simply because of who they are. Bobby Wilkinson is the new Executive Director of Client Marketing at USAA Insurance after many years at State Farm. But long before his rise through the ranks of the insurance industry, Bobby grew up in a tiny town of 2,000 people in the Bible Belt of Kentucky. The community was mostly white, but Bobby fortunately felt insulated from racial prejudice in his mostly black neighborhood. But despite that, Bobby still felt different. Even though he made friends easily, and that was even before Facebook, he was a regular guy, playing baseball and fishing with his grandfather. But he still couldn't escape a sense of disconnect. He always felt different from the other guys, and different didn't seem to be a good thing. Kayla Schell is the Executive Legal Director for Dell's Commercial Business Unit. But before she had a successful legal career, a loving partner, and 2 kids, Kayla grew up in Hamburg, Arkansas. She remembers reading about the gay rights movement when she was young, and she remembers hearing friends call sissy on the playground and even being called a dyke. Kayla felt marginalized, living in a community that didn't acknowledge that she could be different, let alone that being different could be celebrated. Well, eventually, Kayla came out to her family in Arkansas. She was afraid of how they might respond. But they actually embraced her with love and open arms. And when Kayla's family held a baby shower for Kayla and Randy's first child, plenty of the residents of Hamburg, Arkansas complained. They complained because they were not invited. So Kayla climbed the corporate ladder and made a decision when she joined Dell that she would be out from day one. But she never forgot what it felt like to be in the closet for the first decade of her career. Kayla lives in Texas now, and along with her partner Randy, the first openly LGBT person elected to the Austin City Council, Kayla is working to change Texas law for the better. No easy task, as we all know, but I think if anyone can do it, Kayla and Randy can do it. Bobby, Ana, and Kayla all struggled when they were young because they were different. And as adults, they've all become important advocates for equality. Bobby went on to set up policies at State Farm Insurance to make sure that employees who are different are always treated equally. And Bobby's active beyond his workplace. He's on the board of Out and Equal and in his community and in his church. But perhaps most importantly, Bobby has become a mentor. As a proud and visible Black gay man and as a helping hand to others who have not yet found a way to come out, Bobby is a role model. He takes pride in the stories of his colleagues, like a straight ally who spoke up against a homophobic remark during a work meeting. Bobby shares his only regret that he didn't come out sooner. Ana decided in college that the LGBT rights were the next great civil rights struggle. At Citi, Anna made sure that the LGBT employee resource group became a reality. She helped implement a non-discrimination policy that includes sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression, and it's applied to every Citigroup office in the 160 countries where they operate. Anna frequently speaks on panels about lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender issues, and as she says, straight allies really need to stand up for what they know is right, even if it means someone may question their sexual orientation. These stories are so important. Imagine if every questioning teenager in Arkansas could read Kayla's story. If every young person in Kentucky or New York could read Bobby's or Anna's story. Anna, Bobby, and Kayla are just a few of the people in our new book, Out and Equal at Work, From Closet to Corner Office. And these stories are just a few of the thousands of stories in this room and the millions more worldwide just waiting to be told. There's Yvonne Scafarato, who is working tirelessly in Milan, Italy, where many companies are convinced that they don't even have LGBT employees. Surprise, I bet that's probably not true. Yvonne is bringing change one workplace at a time. There's Maggie Stump, one of the highest-ranking transgendered executives in the country, who transitioned while serving as chief financial officer. She changed her life for the better and has opened eyes and changed the minds of everyone around her. There's Brad Smith, chief executive officer of Intuit, a straight white guy from rural West Virginia who cares deeply about diversity. And for Brad, being an ally simply means being a good friend. And there's George Kalogridis, president of Disneyland Resorts. George's first job at Disney was as a busboy in Orlando. One of the reasons that George is so successful, I think, is that he appreciates every single person doing every single job at Disney. George has experienced so many things through the rise in his career, from busboy to president, but probably none as notable as the time that his name and the location of his office was posted by a radical Christian group with threats against him on the internet, just because he's gay. Well, as you can imagine, George feared for his safety and his job. But fortunately, Disney supported George completely. The employee who threatened George was immediately fired, and George's boss said to him, both personally and publicly, "George, we support you 100%. Now we know why it's the happiest place on earth. Whether you work in Italy, Kentucky, or Disneyland, we are making our story a global one, bringing our voices to every corner of the world so that no one, no matter where they live or where they work, ever has to choose between making a living and making a life filled with love and dignity and respect. Bobby, George, a number of these people, I think Anna maybe, many of the contributors from Out and Equal at Work are here today. And I'd like to invite all of the book contributors to raise your hand or stand up so we can acknowledge you and honor your stories. Good job. Thank you for inspiring all of us. I know that every person in this room has a story. You've overcome hurdles, you've taken a stand, you've really made a difference. And for that reason, I'd like to invite you to write your story. Write your story and send it to us, and we'll continue to expand the online version of Out and Equal at Work, and we want to add your story. But once you've written it, print it out and add it to the book. Paste it in, staple, whatever works, and then give your book to your family, to your colleagues, to your chief diversity officer, to your CEO. And make sure you send at least one to the library at your alma mater, both your college and high school alma mater. Today, we celebrate your stories and our powerful shared voice, because together, we have literally written the book on workplace equality, and we couldn't have done it without you. We're not done. This is just the beginning. Our larger story is still unfolding, but we will not stop sharing our stories, encouraging others, and shouting from the rooftops until equality echoes in every ear and in every heart and in every office around the world. So thank you for being part of our story. You've inspired your companies. You've inspired Out and Equal. So thank you for making a difference and changing the world, one cubicle and one workplace and one corner office at a time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.